This episode illustrates the creation of Post API using ExpressJS. So let's get started. To demonstrate the creation of a Post API using ExpressJS, we already have a project set up in place with an Express server running with Node 1 configuration in place, the details of which are provided in the description. The first step will be for us to have a data source in place, and for that we are going to use a JSON file as a source of data, which will have a listing of products against which the Post API will be implemented. Let's go ahead and create a folder called data, which will have a products.json file. This file will contain an array of products. We already have some things in place which we can utilize in the interest of time. Next step will be to read this file and make the product lists, the list of products available for the application to work with. For that we'll be using the file system library. Next we'll parse the JSON file and make it available as a JavaScript object. First step will be to read the JSON content using the file system functions. Once we have the JSON data read, we need to parse it and create a JavaScript object. With this in place, the next step is to configure the Express middleware to be able to process JSON requests and responses. We'll configure the middleware here. We will also implement a get API so that we can verify once a product or resource has been added, we can verify with the get call whether it really is accessible. Now let's verify whether the product is accessible by invoking this API, the get API, using Postman. As we can see that we are able to see a list of 4 products with the IDs 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now let's go ahead and implement the Post API. Now here, since each product has a unique ID, and since we are working with JSON data and not an actual database, so we will have to identify uh, the max identifier that has already been assigned to existing products, so that we can increment the identifier, the unique identifier, when we are actually trying to add a new product. So we will define a variable called max id as 0, and then we will iterate through each of the products and then read their IDs and try to find the maximum ID. Once we have got the maximum ID, even before this, the one thing that we missed here is we need to be reading the product information that is being provided as part of the post API call. So we will define a variable here called new product, and we'll say request dot body. This will assign the body, which is a JSON request body, to which will contain the product information, to the new product variable. Now that we have this in place, we will then assign an identifier for this new product that is being created. This will be an increment of the maximum identifier that has been found in our existing current product catalog. Now that we have this in place, what we will do is we will push this particular product into the array of product lists, and we will return this new product as part of the response body. We will also set the status as 201 created. Now let's verify whether this is working as expected. So first let's verify whether the get call is working as expected, and yes, it is working. Now what we will do is we'll try to create a post call. The body of which will be in JSON format. We will not give an identifier because it is a new product. We don't have any identifier details. We'll give some title and some price. We will also give some text description. In category, we'll leave it as the way it is, and we will make an API call and verify whether it is working or not. And as we can see, we have got an HTTP status response with an identifier as 5, and then we also have the status code as 2 not 1 created. So let's go back to the get method and verify whether in this, when we call this method which lists all the products, will this new product be available. Now as we see here, we can see a new listing of the product that we just created using the post API call. With this, we have covered the post API calls using Express. If this particular episode was helpful to you, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, let us know in the comment section if you would like us to create any specific episodes on a topic that you would like us to create. Thank you.
At Spinsage, we provide digital consultancy services including web and mobile app development. For inquiries, please visit spinsage.com.